Did you know? The very first mosque in Islam was not the Grand Prophet's mosque in Medina, but a simple mosque called Kuba Mosque. In this video, we'll explore it in depth. Its origins, why it is called the first mosque, its virtues, and the valuable lessons we can take from it. So, stay tuned until the end. Brief history of Kuba Mosque. Let us go back for a moment to the year 622 AD, the first year of the Hijra. At that time, the Messenger of Allah had just left the city of Mecca. He migrated together with his companions to a new city, Medina. This migration was no ordinary journey. Imagine, the Prophet and his companions had to travel hundreds of kilometers across the desert, facing many challenges and threats from the Quraysh. Before reaching the center of Medina, the Prophet stopped at a small village called Quba, about 5 kilometers from today's Medina. Quba was a peaceful village, full of date palm trees, and served as a comfortable resting place after the long journey. It was in this village that a great event took place. The Prophet and his companions decided to build a house of worship. Not an ordinary house, but a mosque, a place to gather, to prostrate, and to worship Allah. The Prophet himself began the construction. He laid the first stone, then his companions eagerly followed. We can imagine, dear Muslim friends, the companions working hand in hand, lifting stones, arranging clay with hearts filled with faith and joy. The building was indeed simple. Its walls were made of stone and mud, its roof from palm fronds, and its floor still bare earth. But it was precisely this simplicity that gave Kuba Mosque its great meaning. This was the very first mosque built in Islam. It was more than just a building. It was the symbol of the beginning of Islamic civilization in Medina, a starting point where Muslims had their own house of worship, a place to pray together, to remember Allah, and to strengthen their brotherhood. Two, why is it called the first mosque? Dear Muslim friends, perhaps some of you may wonder, why is Kuba Mosque called the first mosque? Didn't Muslims already perform prayer in Mecca? That's right. Since the first revelation, Prophet Muhammad and his companions had already been performing prayer. However, at that time, they prayed secretly in houses or in simple open spaces. There was no dedicated mosque building officially established for congregational prayer. It was only when the Prophet arrived in the village of Quba that he, together with his companions, built a mosque. This was the very first mosque truly constructed as a center of worship. The Prophet himself laid the first stone, and the companions continued with great enthusiasm. That is why Kuba Mosque holds a special position. It is not just a physical building, but a symbol that Muslims finally had an official house of worship. A safe place where they could gather, prostrate together, and strengthen their brotherhood.